Hey everyone, back into today's video. We're going to have a look at the month ahead from the Japanese model. It's JMA Friday, as always on a Friday. We're also going to have a look at the CFS, see what that's showing for the coming month. And also, we've got the update from the Beijing Climate Centre for the winter, the final update for December to February from the Beijing Climate Centre. So I'll give you a little sneak peek of that at the end of the video. Now, before I get on with that, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles sitting underneath the weather video here on the homepage at GazWeatherVids.com. Have a browse through the widget, and if there's any articles that you're interested in, just click through and you'll be able to go off and read those articles when you're finished at GazWeatherVids, of course. There's green keyword ads on some of the pages, so you can right go to over green keywords, so display ads, so you can click through words, go to advertise website, help to support GazWeatherVids.com by doing that. And also there's an ad unit down near the comment box, so see what those are about and click through if you're interested in them. Gaz Shop is open, so if you've got any Christmas shopping to do at Amazon between now and Christmas, just click through the Amazon banners in Gaz Shop. It'll take you off to Amazon and you'll be able to go and do your Christmas shopping. But because you've gone from GazWeatherVids to Amazon, we'll get a royalty fee on the things that you're purchasing. Thanks so much for getting involved. These things are paying for the website, helping me to sit here and talk to you via website, so thanks very much for doing that. So as I said, it's JMA Friday. We've got the month ahead from the Japanese model, 500 millibar high anomalies, broken down into weekly periods. The British Isles is just here, upside down on these charts. Blue is extrapolated to low pressure, and orange and yellow is extrapolated to high pressure. So for the coming week, we've got a trough of low pressure out in the Atlantic, taking quite a long way southwards into the Atlantic, actually. And then we've got this ridge of high pressure sitting to the east of the country and to the northeast. So it's what I was talking about in the video yesterday, really. Let battle commence. Low pressure in the west, in the Atlantic. High pressure in the east over Scandinavia and eastern parts of Europe. And yeah, it's a proper battleground UK scenario. There'll be bouts of rain coming in from the west. The high pressure trying to ward off those bouts of rain has to be said. But winds probably southerly, southeasterly type direction. So it's not going to be all that warm. Probably near normal temperatures, if anything, coming out from that. So that's the 20th to the 27th, the first week. The second weekly period will be taking us from the 27th to the 4th of December, so into the new month. And it's still the same sort of idea, really, although the trough out to west is a little bit different. This ridge up to the east and the northeast is being pushed further into the east as this trough of low pressure moves in off the Atlantic. So it's a even more unsettled week. The first chart was pretty unsettled, to be honest. This is an even more unsettled week. The winds are going westerly, so quite a strong westerly coming through off the Atlantic, bringing bouts of heavy rain in off the Atlantic, particularly wet in the west, but all areas would be wet at times. And temperatures are probably lifting up a little bit as well as the flow is turning a little bit more westerly. But this is showing the ridge sort of receding back as we go into the start of December. And then for the 3rd and 4th weeks, this takes us from the 4th to the 18th of December. The ridge is pushed further back, with those yellow curves being pushed back towards the west of Russia. So this does see that the ridge, at least temporarily, is losing the battle as this trough out in the Atlantic becomes the driving factor. The flow is off the Atlantic there, so it's relatively mild going up to the middle of December, and it's unsettled still. Most unsettled in the north and west, driest in the east, but this trough will be bringing in bouts of rain at times. So that's the Japanese model, and it is seeing the ridge to the east sort of losing the battle as we're getting towards December. But what about the CFS? This is the latest monthly forecast from the CFS B2 model. These again are 500 with our heights broken down into weekly periods. The first week period is from the 20th to the 26th, and it's almost as we was looking at on the JMA, really. The ridge is up to the northeast, the trough is out in the Atlantic, so it's a battleground UK scenario, with the trough trying to bring bouts of rain in through the coming week, the ridge trying to fight it off, and yeah, you could get some quite big rainfall totals with that, actually. As we move through to the second weekly period, taking us from the 27th of November to the 4th of December. Remember, this is the time when the JMA is seeing that the high pressure begins to lose the battle. What the CFS wants to do is centre it more up towards central and northern parts of Scandinavia. So while the trough is probably becoming more influential through this period to the start of December, actually it's beginning to evolve itself into a colder pattern probably. This trough is showing signs of really starting to dig down in towards France, Spain and the central Mediterranean. This ridge is becoming more influential. It's probably not cold, more centred over Scandinavia with the ridge. It's probably not all that cold at this stage, but the winds are definitely coming from a southeasterly, perhaps almost easterly type direction, something like that. It still could be relatively mild, but certainly the trough is really digging into the central bowl of the Mediterranean there. Now, as we go through to the next weekly period, this taking us from the 4th to the 10th of December, then the CFS is taking the trough, the low pressure, down into the central bowl of the Mediterranean as this ridge becomes centred between Greenland and Scandinavia. This is a cold scenario really. We'd be starting to bring the winds in from the east like that. This is suggesting, I think, that cold air will start to dig in from the east as we go into December, with this trough becoming centred to the south of the country. And then as we get through to the final week period, this takes us from the 11th to the 17th of December. Look at that, we've got high pressure as a northern blocking feature there around Greenland and Iceland. The trough is down to the south and the flow is almost certainly coming from an easterly or even perhaps northeasterly type direction. That could be dragging in cold air. So this does imply, I think the CFS V2 does imply that the high pressure is going to win the battle and start to bring eventually, as we get into December, the risk of some colder air moving in from the east and the northeast. This low pressure, by the way, could provide the potential for some snow as it tries to push up from the south, that trough. But that's a very interesting scenario, and it's very different to the Japanese model, so we'll have to see how that one goes. But the CFS is definitely this morning, on that particular update, seeing something colder coming along as we go through into December. These are the CFS temperature. This is the CFS temperature graph forecast from the website weatherweb.net, and we can see that the CFS is seeing this decline in the temperature. It gets quite mild over the next day or two, then we get a bit of a drop down through the week, and near normal temperatures coming up through next week with bouts of rain. But as we get through to the start of December, this is the 1st of December just here, we do see this decline in the temperatures taking place, becoming really quite cold through the first week to 10 days of December. In fact, by the time we get through to say the 10th, 11th, 12th, we're probably struggling to see daytime temperatures going above freezing at that point. Things do stage a little bit of a recovery as we go through mid-month, and then getting up towards the run-up to Christmas, actually it's seeing things becoming milder with temperatures returning much closer to normal there. So by the time we get through to Christmas, we lose that cold air, and things do get a good deal milder. But certainly for a week or two, through the first half of December, the CFS is seeing the chance of some quite cold weather coming up. Actually, we'll have to see how that goes. This is this morning's GFS generic chart for next weekend, and it's still the same idea I was talking about yesterday. The battle going on between the high pressure up to the northeast, the low pressure out to the west and the southwest. This is for Saturday the 29th of November, so next weekend. And yeah, these bouts of rain could be, these low pressure could be bringing in bouts of rain off the Atlantic. As we get through to day 10 though, Monday the 1st of December, the low pressure is still in there over the country, still very unsettled, but notice that the high pressure there is ridging between Greenland and Scandinavia, so that's very similar to just looking at on the CFS 500 millibar heights, actually northern blocking, hints of northern blocking anyway, to the north of the country. Again, it still isn't cold because these low pressures are bringing the air in from the Atlantic, but it's getting closer and closer really to cold weather. We've got to watch out that this trough up here to the north of Scandinavia, if that starts to drop cold air down into northern and eastern parts of Europe, then we could really start to pull in some colder air. This would generally be quite a cold scenario, but being such a warm autumn that there isn't any cold air over the continent yet. Excuse me. The ECMWF, however, by day 10 is seeing that the polar vortex is gathering over Greenland. That's trying to bring westerlies in off the Atlantic. So that's different again. A lot of uncertainty as we're going out to the week to 10-day period, never mind going out beyond a month. As we get through to the GEM, that's seeing a big blocking area of high pressure up there over Scandinavia, blocking off the Atlantic. The low pressure systems are trying to get through, but the high pressure is really warding it off up over Scandinavia. But that chart from the GFA is very interesting, with the hints of the northern blocking there between Greenland and Scandinavia. Finally, we've had the update from the Beijing Climate Centre for the winter. So this is the final 500 millibar height anomaly forecast from the Beijing Climate Centre for the winter of 2014-2015, and it's back almost to where it started, with a lot of northern blocking being signalled here for Greenland, a deep trough of low pressure over the top of the British Isles, and we're pulling in cold air into that trough. So that is a cold scenario being signalled by the Beijing Climate Centre for the winter. Cold air going into that trough, and there could be some wintry potential with that. Notice also a trough for the eastern side of the United States, so a cold winter for them also. The temperature forecast for the winter, this is it, and well, we're below average here. It's indicating a cooler or a colder than average winter for British Isles. Most of Europe having a cold winter as well, and most of America having a cold winter also. So the Beijing Climate Centre, after a big wobble that occurred particularly last month, where it went for quite a mildish sort of winter, is almost back where it started when we started looking at this in August. It's not quite as extreme as the pattern it was seen in August, but nevertheless it's now back to where it started, indicating quite a lot of northern blocking over Greenland, a trough correspondingly underneath it over British Isles and Europe, a negative North Atlantic oscillation, and a colder than average winter being indicated by the Chinese model. So that's how that's looking in terms of the coming month. A lot of uncertainty between the Japanese and the CFS. Will the Atlantic win this battle that's currently taking place, or will, as the CFS is suggesting this morning, the ridge win the battle and start to bring colder air in for the start of December? It's all getting very, very interesting, so we'll keep an eye on it. It's a weekend broadcast tomorrow, so come back for that. Hope you found the video interesting. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.